Good afternoon and welcome. We are so delighted to have you joining us for this Teaching Books webinar. Uh, Add Teaching Books to your summer reading. I'm Mary Ellen Groff. I'm here with my colleague, Kim David. Kim, do you want to start us off?
I absolutely do. Thank you, Mary Ellen. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. I'm just going to give a little bit of background about your Inspire license. So TeachingBooks was founded, as you probably know, to connect readers to authors and illustrators. And we do that through all of our wonderful resources. We also provide those professionally vetted resources for the books being read in classrooms and libraries. 2021, we joined Overdrive, an ebook audiobook company. If you're using Libby, then you're really familiar with Overdrive. Now we have the ability to connect books to resources. Overdrive has the books and TeachingBooks has the resources. Please reach out if you have any questions about that. Today, we get to just hone in on TeachingBooks in your summer reading plan, which we're really excited about. And we want to just make sure that you're aware that TeachingBooks is provided to all Indiana schools, public libraries, universities, and all residents through Inspire, the service of the Indiana State Library. We're going to go ahead and show you where that access is in just a few moments. So today, we'll go ahead, Miriam. Let's just show the access first. Thanks. We're on the Inspire page, and we scroll down just a little bit, and you see both TeachingBooks for libraries, for our public library platform, and TeachingBooks for schools. And of course, you have access to both in case you're supporting a teacher that comes into your public library, and then we have our public library platform. So today, we're going to take a look at summer reading lists for all ages. We're going to talk about and show you and give you time to consider creating your own custom lists and resources that support the book selection and the programming that you're doing in your library. We have beautiful book trailers to entice readers. We have those Meet the Author recordings and previews. And then we're going to take a peek at Discover Like Books that will enhance readers' advisory. You've got all those beautiful skills, but then as you're showcasing that for your patrons, we have those tools for you.
So to get right into Teaching Books for public libraries, we go, as Kim said, and we like repetition because it helps us remember. You go to the Inspire page, inspire.in.gov, and scroll down, and you will see Teaching Books for Libraries right there. And when you are, once you get to the site, you want to check and see if you're logged in as a professional. This is really helpful throughout using the site. And if you are not, if you see welcome and a general welcome, you're going to click this 3-line toggle menu and go down. It's going to say for professionals, where it says switch to reader login. It's going to say for professionals, and that will take you in via your email. But we are already logged in, and we're going to start just by searching the summer reading lists that are already on TeachingBooks. So I'm going to hit this. I'm going to go all the way over to the other side of the screen. We're going to go over to the right side where there's a magnifying glass. And when we click that, presto, the search bar opens. You can start by typing summer, and you don't even have to hit enter. When you don't hit enter on TeachingBooks, the display is horizontal, which just makes it all fit on your screen. So you can see there's books with summer, authors and illustrators with the name summer. You can see some really great lists created by different organizations, and then you can see featured. Now, if you're a person that happens to hit enter, it's all fine. You just need to remember to find those featured things to scroll down. So it's really helpful just to know. Some people hit enter automatically. Just remember to scroll. And we're going to look at the summer reading menu. We have CSLP lists. We've got the Read, Renew, Repeat. We've got the Sora Sweet Reads and the We Are Kidlit. And as soon as we have these available, we have a fabulous content team who makes sure the lists are up to date. As soon as they're given to us, we get them posted as quickly as we can so that you can explore. So let's take a look for, let's look at CSLP, and I'm going to pick Early Literacy English, and you can see there are 78 titles. with 762 resources. Now, this is an early literacy, so we've got the potential to find activity guides, book readings, and on a new feature. Kim, should we show them the new feature? On the filters, we have phonics and phonological awareness tags. So we've if a family is reading together and reinforcing those phonics pieces, they can go in and find books that feature long A sound or feature any of these other blends or vowel sounds. Now, this isn't going to be the materials to teach that, but it will be the materials to enhance and engage students with concepts they have been maybe introduced to, or maybe just you as a family have been able to touch on. So those are some of the filters you can find in those summer reading programs. Now, once we've picked a list, let's go back to that page and just show it again. I'm going to type in summer. Oops, I got to hit the 2 M's and summer reading programs, and there they are. Let's say there's a list that I want to create my own version of. So I'm going to go into this teen list for a second. I can, and now I'm looking at the upper left. I'm trying to let you indicate where my cursor is so it will help you follow. I have some ability to share these lists right from this site. I can duplicate this list. Maybe I want to duplicate this list and then see which books we have in the library. Maybe I want to check how many copies we have. Maybe I want to think about that. So I can duplicate this list and it's going to automatically rename it and it's going to give me some pieces. And now I can go into this list and I could take titles off that maybe we don't have a copy of, or maybe there's some other reason why I would want to adjust it. And then I can go in, once I've duplicated the list, I can go in and view it. And you'll see I have these little boxes. So this might be the place where you might say that you have 6 copies. Notes for yourself. If this is a list you're promoting, you might want to keep track of how many copies you have on your shelves, how many you have copies access to for readers, how many you can get a hold of if you had a group that wanted to read it all at once. On any list, you also have the ability to embed the list. So this is the list I'm promoting to my teen readers. They might be looking at the library website, and I can use the embed this list feature and put it right on the library website. And from this embed box, they can go in and explore the resources. So maybe they're listening to an audio excerpt, or maybe they're looking at the Google preview. Maybe they're looking for their next read and they want to listen to the Meet the Author recording to decide if that's good for them. So before your teen readers get to the library, if they're on your library site, they can have a preview of the titles and then request them or come in and check them out. We also have the ability for you to build your own list. So I'm going to start with this title and to pretend like I didn't have it on a list, but I wanted to create my own. So I'm going to use this plus icon. I'm going to click on the plus, and this is going to be my teen reading group. And we're choosing the books that this teen summer book group are going to read. And now I can add it to that list. And when I go in to view it, I've created a list with one title. I can add titles quickly by searching and clicking that plus icon, or at my library checkout, I can take the copy of the book, use my library scanner, scan the ISBN, it will pop up. I click the blue plus icon and I can add it to my list. Where will you find your lists, you're asking yourself? Well, ask no more. We go to the toggle menu. So I'm on the left side, upper part of the screen, and I'm going to choose the 3-line toggle menu, and you will see your reading lists. I'm going to choose your reading list, and you're going to see there's some already here. We have we have an Inspire list for Smokey's reading list. We have the wonderful Indiana lists already for you there. And then below that, nobody else can see your reading lists. You'll see that I duplicated that one and I started one. Unless I share them, they're my lists. Once I decide to share them, and sharing is always going to have to do with this arrow icon, and we'll talk about that in more depth. Those are my lists. Once I share them out, the whole world can know about the books that I have on my lists. So those are a few of the pieces. I'm going to show one more time. Summer reading programs, and you can see we've got those lists, and there's even a build your own summer reading list option at the bottom. And it will ask you to log in as an adult or as a reader under 18. We never collect data from people under 18, but as an adult, I'm logged in as an adult, and it will allow me to create and share lists. For readers, they can create a list and have a list of their titles. Kim, is there anything else about this summer reading page that you want to add before we move on to exploring and using the resources more in depth?
Well, thanks for asking, Marilyn. I love the fact that you shared about creating those lists and being able to look at the list. I think that it could be really powerful to have your displays. You could create those bookmarks for them. You could create different resources to go along with these titles in your displays, all sorts of great opportunities to promote summer reading. And those, from those lists, and there's social media options and things like that I'm sure you're going to talk about too. But I, there's so much you can do from those lists that you're using and I know you're using CSLP in Indiana. So great opportunities to promote that.
So Kim, you said sharing out those lists. Besides the embed feature, let's show how to share one of those lists. I'm going to go to the CSLP and I'm going to choose the early literacy Spanish list this time. If you look in the upper left again, right below the 3-line toggle and the logo, you're going to see a share button. Kim, do you want to talk through the options in the share button when I click on it, and I'll show it while you talk about it?
Sure, will do. So we choose share. And because right now we're sharing an entire list, everyone who you share access with will have access to all of the resources for all of the titles on this list. And so you'll see that you can have a URL, you can copy that right into any kind of programming you're doing, put it out on put it on social media, do any kind of promotional tools that you'd like there. You can create bookmarks to have for a display. You can have a flyer, the bookmarks then. You can translate those, but you've got all sorts of tools that you can have at your display. If we go back, another option that you can have are those labels. I would save the label sharing for a little later, Marielle. You're probably going to talk about different resource types, and then we can even talk about how we can do more with those displays. But sharing is beautiful. Whether you share a resource, all the resources for a title, or you share all of the resources for a complete list, sharing gives immediate access to whoever you've shared it with.
And on the sharing box, you'll even see the social media. Kim, we should make a note to rename Twitter on this. But it goes to the same place, even though the little bird's still there. But if you are promoting a program in your library, you can share these out via your social media as well. Okay, so now we're going to think about how we can use the resources on TeachingBooks to promote programs, to engage readers. And then after that, we're going to give you a minute to get on the site and do a little exploring. But let's go back to the CSLP list. And I want to think about the book trailers, meet the author recordings, the previews, and we're going to go to the CSLP children's list. I'm looking at the one I previewed, so I want to make sure I get to it. Mm-hmm. And I want to get to the title Alone. So Alone has a lot of resources. We have a meet the author recording. We've got an audio excerpt. We've got a video book reading, but we also have a book trailer. So let's take a little listen to this book trailer. Kim, are you interested? Do you want to find out what happens? Do you want to
I
go get that book?
I do. Plus, I'm so happy that you chose this one for our Indiana webinar because it was provided by the Mooresville, Indiana Public Library.
I know.
I
We
love
got,
that. Yeah, they're very engaging. Their book trailers are amazing.
and you'll see that share arrow right under the book cover. Now we saw it on the lists. Kim, do you want to explain the difference between what we saw on a list and what we see on a specific resource?
Absolutely. So this is a particular resource. So the recipient would have access to this resource automatically. Now, because this is a single resource, you're going to have you're going to have a couple of different opportunities. One is you have the choice to share it with full site exploration, meaning the search bar is at the top, all the different navigation tools are at the top. There's the links to the games and things like that on the side. All of that is available. Or you can click that next button that says this resource only and copy that. It changes all of the QR code links. It changes the link right in that Mary Ellen just highlighted. And what it does are you going to show that or should I just talk about it?
I could show it.
I always just copy it and pop it in there. And I love that because it really focuses in, especially for the shelf talkers that we're going to talk about in a second. I like that they just go to this. And so if somebody's scanning in your library or you create a shelf talker and hang it off the book, or you create a label that we're going to talk about in just a second, then the person who scans will go right to these resources. Okay, let's go back to, so now you see that because this is a resource that talks, you have the opportunity to have a shelf talker, and we can open that up. And then this is a lovely new thing too. We're signed in at the uppermost Indiana level, but if you are all set up in your public library, then your public library logo will show up at the top of the shelf talker, which we love. And then it's also going to say have your information down at the bottom. So Teaching Books used to be up at the top, but now we are able to highlight the fact that this is coming from you. So then those can hang right off your shelves, or they can hang right on a book on your display and get your patron right into this resource. You also, and I think we were going to show, can you just share that? Share, yes. And so we also can do that same thing with those label sheets. So if you have many copies, when Mary Ellen said you could use the list to find out how many copies you have, you can create labels that can go right inside your titles too, so that when your patrons take these home, they've got access to that trailer, or maybe there's a Meet the Author recording, whatever you want to pop right inside that book, they'll be able to have access to.
Kim, at one point, our public library is not far from where elementary school students walk. And so they put shelf talkers on the window facing out. So as the kids were walking by, all of a sudden they were engaged with book trailers and hopefully coming in to check out a book. Let's take another look at a different type of resource. I'm going to just search by title this time. I'm going to search When You Trap a Tiger. And on this page, you're going to see that we have a Meet the Author recording, an audio excerpt, and a book reading. And what I like to think us to be most famous for is our Meet the Author recordings. Whenever possible, our team interviews the author and has them book talk the book. And so let's take a little listen to this.
Hi, my name is Tay Keller, and I am the author of When You Trap a Tiger. This is a book about family stories and family history, and I knew that I wanted this to be about a girl and her hominy, her grandmother. And so I was thinking about my relationship with my hominy and the stories that she always told me, and I remember being young and running into her room late at night, way past my bedtime, and asking her to tell me stories. And she would tell me Korean fairy tales, and my favorite was the story of the sun and the moon and the tiger. So that's a story about a tiger who dresses up in grandmother's clothing and tries to trick these two little granddaughters, kind of in the vein of Little Red Riding Hood, and the girls run away into the sky and become the sun and the moon.
So I'm going to pause it there. So a wonderful insight and connection for a title for older readers. And again, we have that share arrow. We also have this Google Preview. Now this Google Preview, give it a second, allows you to take a little start reading the book. So if somebody hears that it's Little Red Riding Hood, they may think, well, is this, a younger version? And they can have a sense of, get a sense of if it is a good level for them. So that is a piece. I'm going to go back to this book page because Kim, I was wondering if we want to spend just a minute showing them the brand new feature, the book resumes, using this title. Would you like to explain that or should I?
I'm happy to. I just had to unmute. So at the top of these pages, you'll also see our new feature, which is book resumes. And so if you open up a book resume, you'll see that what our hope is that we're able to change some of the narrative around book selection in some cases. And you'll see that we have information about the author and the title at the top. And then you'll see that there are 8 professional reviews and 4 are starred. It's won 14 book awards and it's been selected. Those touts are all at the top again. You get some information about the cultural experiences, the grade levels, etc. And then you can dive in with the accordions to know that it has 17 subject headings. You can take a look at the professional reviews. I love that they're all there and which ones are starred. So you're seeing them from Hornbook, Publishers Weekly, Kirkus, CCBC, all of those places where, we're comparing apples to apples when we're looking at books. And so if anyone has a question about books that were chosen or books that they're thinking about getting, this is a great tool. I also love the fact that the state and provincial recommended who chose after book awards and distinctions, you've got who is chosen to put this title on their list. And if the state lists are still live, there will be a link there. But we know that 16 different states or provinces have put this on their list, on their award list. There's a primary statement if we've interviewed the author, and you just heard some of that, so that is there. And then there's a digital book that you can preview, as we were talking about the Sora Libby connection. And then Mary Ellen was starting to, except I went on and on, Mary Ellen was starting to show you that you also have an ebook sample there that you can take a look at and read a sample, so that the Google preview is there, but you also will have about 1/10 of the book if you read that sample. You also can print that full report. You can print a 1-page summary, or you can use that share tool, just like always, to share it with someone electronically.
So that's what the 1-page report looks like. Thank you so much, Kim. This is exciting and exciting that we can share this because this is fairly new, fairly new. I think before we go on, we want to pause and see if you have any questions. You can use the chat or you can open your mic if you'd like, and suggest that you maybe open another tab on your computer and go to inspire.in.gov and get on Teaching Books for Libraries and explore. So we'll give you maybe 4 minutes to do that. If you have any problems accessing, use the chat. We'll help you problem solve. But we want you to explore a little bit while we're here to answer questions. And so you remember all the wonderful things that we showed you by going around and actually doing it now. When we're done with this section, we'll give you some more tools that can help with Reader's Advisory. We will talk about play concentration in just a minute. Good reminder.
I was excited to think you were gonna do a little jigsaw while they explored on the site, Marielle.
Kim, I actually do it to time the little bit of explore time.
Oh, I love that idea.
Somebody asked if they could do my puzzle. They'll have to do their own puzzle.
You know, I was saying it makes me want to. I was like, no, I have to go do it myself.
When I'm demoing, I always choose a 4-piece because I can't concentrate and do the puzzle at the same time. So when you're doing it this way, Marilyn, which I love, you can do a little bit longer puzzle.
I am going to now demonstrate concentration. We'll explain it in a minute while you are exploring, but if somebody wants to watch, we can do that. Okay, so let's pause and see if there's any questions, and then I will show you how I got into the concentration game. Okay, so any list, whether I go through the summer page or if I go to your reading lists, and let's choose one of the great Indiana lists. See all lists. I am going to choose the Indiana State Library Book Kits list. All I need to do is look in the upper left-hand corner of the screen and I can hit play concentration and it will set up a concentration board for me. And then you can play. Stargirl. Oh, I just saw Winn-Dixie. And so you can play with any list, you can do it automatically. There are ways to find the other puzzles and games on TeachingBooks under For Fun. And you can see that there is a games section. I personally like to find the list first and play from there. That's a preference, but there are other options. So the next thing we're going to talk to you about is Discover Like books. I'm going to start with a book called Healer of the Water Monster. And I want to put together a scenario. I'm going to play a little bit of the Meet the Author recording, and then we're going to talk about Discover Like books.
Yat she Brian Young Inishya, Shenant Sos a Healer of the Water Monster. Hi, my name is Brian Young, and my book is called Healer of the Water Monster. Healer of the Water Monster started as a dream that I had many years ago. In that dream, I saw a young boy playing with a video game system, and he stops and runs through a cornfield and then into a desert, and he comes across a small little lizard, and they started to sing. And after they started singing, it began to rain, and that image stuck with me for days, then for weeks, and then for months. And I was inspired to write Healer of the Water Monster.
So we've shared this recording. One of our readers, patrons comes in, checks out that book, reads it, and then we've hooked them. They come back. I want to read more books like that. So we're going to go to that title page and we're going to look above the touts. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Above the touts, there's a section for discover like books. Now, we can use this when we're having a conversation. We can teach patrons to use this. We can teach families to use this. So maybe the parents come in and say, he read this, he wants to read more. Let's find some more books. Or maybe it's the patron themselves. We choose discover like books and we have that conversation. Why did you like that book? Maybe you want to read more books by that author. Maybe you liked it because it was science fiction fantasy. Maybe you liked it because it showed something of the American Indian, Native American experience. Or maybe it was because it was about monsters. So let's go into monsters. And this gives us the whole monster search. The monster search. Is that like the Monster Mash? And we can go to the filters on the left side of the screen. And here we can narrow 4-8, so we can have that conversation. And maybe we want to make sure, maybe we're looking for a newer book. So we're going to go published the past 3 years. And now we can go in and maybe look at the resources on some of these titles. So let's look at Tristan Strong Keeps Pulling. And we have an audio excerpt. We've got a name pronunciation. We can check to see we filtered by grade band, so we should be. Another feature that we can check is under show more details. We can look at the reading levels, and sometimes the Lexile is available. Most of the time the Lexile is available, but there may be some other features that would help if we're matching to a particular student's needs. And then we have the Google preview. So the student can or patron can come in and explore these resources. And we can start building a list for them. I can click this button, and we're going to say this is for Max. And oh, it's got to have more letters.
Or Max.
Max's list.
Max's ideas.
And we can add more titles. So if we go back to that monster, let's actually go to Tristan Strong Punches the World. And we're going to use Discover Like Books again to show that to you. And we said it was monsters. And then we narrowed by grade band. We can add multiple titles to this list. So we can use this plus icon on the right side of the screen when we've done a search, add multiple titles, and we can grab all of them or the ones that we know we have available. I'm just going to Revenge of the, and then add to the list. And this is for Max, and I can immediately view it. I can share it. I could print a bookmark for them, grab the QR code and email it to them, use the email function. And so now Max and his family have a list of titles that they can explore and check out every time they come. Kim, anything else about helping readers find titles, patrons find titles that you want to add to what I've shared?
What I love about the tool for Find Like Books is that you're able to then help your readers start thinking about why they liked books. They don't always have the language. You have that language, but they don't always have that language to think about why they liked it. They just know they like it. But when you say, did you like how that author wrote? Maybe you want to have more read more books by Rick Riordan? Did you like it? Like Mary Ellen said, because it was mythology, they start thinking about the different ways that they enjoyed that book. Another lovely idea is that in this particular case, if we just stay on the same book, the same piece right here, Marilyn, you've got the other books with the same awards or other books on the same list. Sometimes on the far right, sometimes that gives us another tool to be able to, oh, this was on a list for a particular reason. There are other ones that you might enjoy, or if they've won a certain award. I love that way of helping them discover other ideas. That was one thing in school when we would have a battle of the books list. Finding all of those other books in the battle, even if they weren't the assigned ones, was a lovely option because they had won other awards.
And when you have a book like this book, which is part of the Percy Jackson series, not only do we have it on this Discover Like Books, but you'll see that there is a series page connected with the title. So we can go to the series page. We've got them hooked on a series. It has the order. It has, if it is a series that is still being developed, every time a new one comes out, we will add it. You don't need to do anything. It's right here. And you can use the share arrow. This is a great place for the label sheets, but you could use the flyer. Let's do share. And we showed the label sheets before. You could create a label sheet that goes to the series page. So when they get done reading the book in the series, they can find the next title, next one. Or you can have a flyer and have this near where those are in the library. Post this so they can scan the QR code and find the next read on their own. So many great ways to use the resources. A couple of final notes, and then we'll see if there's any further questions. First of all, under the toggle menu, you'll see several things, and I have to move my thing so I can see it. You will see help and support. Help is your friend. First of all, we have some video tutorials. These are currently being updated, but they're still relevant now, but they're going to be even better coming soon. And those can help you on some of the pieces on using the site. And then the other thing is contact us. Training is part of your Indiana license through the Inspire. Not only do they pay for your access, but they pay for you as librarians to be trained, or for you to have your staff trained, or for you to set up training for your homeschool networks. It's all part of the Indiana license. And so contact us will get you right to us, and the information is there. But I'm also going to then share with you a couple pictures that show how these resources are used. And as we look at these pictures and see the tags on the books, we're going to end up with bookmarks and label sheets. And this is where I was going. Contact us, either Kim or I. We talk all the time. You can reach out to either of us, or you can go through the website. It's all part of the wonderful service that Indiana Inspire has provides via purchasing and having a license. Kim, any last thoughts?
I love that you talked about the training and support. And remember, it doesn't have to be a big training. If you just have questions or you want to talk about how to implement any of these, just reach out to us. We're happy to sit down and go through it with you. That's the same kind of training. We're happy to do that as well. So don't hesitate to reach out at any time. We're thrilled to assist you.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to connecting with all of you very soon.
Bye.